Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of My Son is Napping So I Can Vlog Now, which that's actually not what this vlog is called, but it probably should be because that's literally what makes or breaks whether or not I get a vlog out. So again, sorry for it being like several weeks since I vlogged. Also, you can tell that I have a croak in my throat. I'm sick. Been getting the flu. Everyone's been getting the flu. It's disgusting. We're making it though. I'm glad that I'm like on the mend. It's Christmas Eve and I really don't want to be feverish when I'm supposed to be making a ham. So that being said, wanted to come to you guys, even though it's right before Christmas, to make a vlog about working from home. It's something that I have been getting a lot of like, not just personally, but just seeing online mothers who have young children and they're really struggling financially, or they want to have a career and they don't know how they're going to have the two. And when I was going through this, when I was pregnant and I was working my first big job at an agency, and I was just asking all these moms and just like frightened about what I was going to do after I gave birth, not knowing how I was going to come back to work, on an entry-level salary. Was I going to pay for daycare and go back to work and make next to nothing? Was I going to like try to find a cheaper option for care? Was I going to leave this job and be a full-time stay-at-home mom? And so many of these things swirling through my head, and it's all come back because I've been talking with other friends who just had their babies and they're asking themselves the same thing. And the bottom line is, I know a lot of us that are around my age range from like 23 to 33, they have all this debt from school or debt from something. And they just, in this day and age, we need two incomes. We just do. I want this video to be highlighting the fact that there are a lot of moms who feel this way, who want to be able to have a career, want to be able to help financially, because a lot of us need to, and still want to be able to be home with our kids. And it's not only that moms are like, I was really going to miss my kid if I was gone all day. It's that daycare just wasn't a feasible option. I guess that's the first tip. I have 9 tips, but I guess now I have 10. The first being to figure out what you need to do to really make an informed decision, because I know there's a lot of things that are swirling in your head if you're on maternity leave right now and you don't know what you're going to do when you get back. In order to make an informed decision, you need to figure out how much you earn, take out gas, taxes, health insurance, if that's on your pay stub, and childcare. And then look at that number at the bottom. And I'm laughing because the memory of doing this is coming back to me, and it was really depressing. It basically told me that going back to work, even if I had a friend of mine giving me a break with childcare, like costing less, was not financially feasible. We still wouldn't be making enough. And then I would be spinning my wheels, commuting to work 45 minutes one way, busting my butt, working my butt off for 9 hours, and then coming home and then doing it all over again. Like that just didn't seem to make sense. And then you're also, you have an infant, you're just tired because you're not getting much sleep. If you have a kid like mine who just hates sleeping, then that's also a factor that you have to consider when making this really difficult decision. That's the first step, is literally taking all these numbers that are swirling around in your head, and you might be over exaggerating some things because that's what we do when we're scared, putting them into a spreadsheet or whatever you like to do, sitting down with your partner and going, okay, based on these numbers, let's make a decision. And my decision was, this is not going to work long term. What are we going to do? So that led to me working from home. And I know some people are like, how do we do this? Like, how do you work from home? And there's a variety of different things. And thankfully there are a lot of, I am seeing like in general, like virtual assistant gigs. There's more freelance gigs coming out there. But you really do have to look. Like I can't give you a step-by-step, here's how you find a work from home gig, because the way that I started working from home was kind of out of the blue. Like someone knew that I wanted to work from home and they were connected with somebody else who needed a work from home assistant. And that's how I started this journey. But this has led to me taking the plunge into freelancing and realizing that it has way more benefits than it does cons, because for me, as somebody who wants to spend time with my kid and can't afford childcare, literally, I remember when I did the math, it was 80 to 90% of my pay would be gone to childcare and all these other things. And then I would keep 10%, and that wasn't even enough to cut anything. And I would go to people who did this, and like either their kids are grown up, and I go, what did you do? What do I do? What do I do? And they go, that's just the way it is. And I'm like, That shouldn't be the way it is. That's not all the advice we can give people who are in my position? Oh, no. This is the start of hopefully me going through this, because I just started it this year, working from home, figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and trying my best to help you all to get that freedom and that balance. That being said, working from home doesn't mean that I'm like in my PJs all day and I'm holding my kid on my hip while I'm on a conference call. The stock photos of moms working from home, if you Google it, it's embarrassing, because it's literally just like moms juggling their kid and like typing with one hand. Like, okay, that does happen like sometimes, but like no one would get anything done. Like I still have to work just like anybody else with focus, you know, with no distractions. Hilarious. So I'm getting derailing. I have my notebook here. I always have my notes. It's embarrassing. I'm such a student because I get really off track. Essentially, working from home, it's not easy. Like I keep saying, it's an option that enables a mother to still be a mom, not pay for full-time childcare, and still make money and help out. One of the first things that I would say if you're a work from home mom, for me personally, to give you some background, I started working from home part-time in May. It's December now, but I started working full-time from home in the beginning of November. So it's been almost 2 full months of me working from home full-time, and holy cow, it has been a test of character. I already thought it was difficult, and then I layered on another gig and another client and all this craziness, and it has been really tough. So I'm making this video to share with you what I've learned the painful hard way. So you're welcome. Hopefully you don't have to go through the same garbage and stress. Hopefully this will mitigate things. So again, nine tips. The first one is creating a schedule. This is literally the foundation of setting yourself up for success if you're going to be a work from home mom. When I decided to take on this other client, I knew that I was going to be bringing myself up to at least 40 hours a week, if not more. And before I committed, I sat down with my husband and was like, this is what our lives are going to look like for the next X number of months. Are we going to be able to make this happen? And the reason why you loop in your partner is because when you have a kid, it's a team effort. It's not just, can I handle it? It's, can we handle it? Because it's going to affect all of us. What is your day going to look like? For me, it's something like starting work at 7 a.m. and working until 2:30 in the afternoon, and then working again at night around like 9 o'clock at night until like 11 or something. And so what is that going to look like for both of you? For us, it was, I no longer make breakfast in the morning. My husband has to get up a little earlier, makes breakfast, and takes care of our son instead of me doing it in the morning, so that I can just get straight into work. Actually, is really helpful to know that not every morning I have to like drag him out of bed and be like, can you please do this? It's like, no, this is something you've agreed upon and you're doing together. Another thing is defining who's doing what. So I try to do the grocery shopping during the week so we can avoid the weekend rush, and he does the dishes every single night. So I make the dinner before he gets home, but every night we know that he's the one who's going to do the dishes, and that's so fantastic because we don't have to wake up to a pile of dirty dishes. So I'm giving a lot of examples, but it's basically to paint how you look at the time that you have and you ask each other, okay, what can you do to help? And what can you do to help? And who's going to be taking care of Charlie when, and things like that. So that I know, it helps my anxiety so much because I know I had this time to get work done, sit down and do it, instead of me going, should I work? Should I make breakfast? Should I feed Charlie? What should I do? It's like, I know that this is my time to work, and this is my time to mom, and then this is my time to cook dinner, and then this is my time to get back to work. And he knows what he needs to do so that I'm enabled to do that. So it's a really long explanation, but this is the most important tip, is ironing out that schedule and balancing out who's doing what, and you're making sure your house runs smooth. Also, if you have any questions, like, please ask me in the description. Oh, I'm tired. Please ask me in the comments, because I do want to I can get into the nitty-gritty here about exactly how like things pan out for me. Definitely want to help there. Okay, number 2 is get help. So I have a sitter every single day from 9 to noon. And while that wasn't financially feasible for me before I started working full time, I still had someone that I could call if I had a big conference call or had a big deliverable and I was feeling really overwhelmed and I'm like, I really need, time to do this. I can call in the sitter and she comes in. I know my son's being taken care of while I can focus on this work, because even though I like to work during nap time and I work when he's sleeping, sometimes I need to work when I'm awake too, when I'm not exhausted. And so I have a sitter every day from 9 to noon, and that gives my son some structure, gives me some structure. Number 3 is make the most of nap time. So sometimes I'm super exhausted, like if my son didn't sleep that great the night before and I have a lot to do. Making the most of nap time doesn't always mean just drinking 5,000 gallons of more coffee and getting back to work. I mean, sometimes I do. I'm just like, I just need to try to get this done. However, sometimes I try to rest. And I know it's really tough when you have a huge deliverable to rest, but you really need to make the most of that time frame. So when I put my son down, if I can't sleep, a tip for you people who have anxiety like me is put a dark blanket over you, set an alarm for like 30 minutes later so that you don't have to think like, oh, have I been laying down for too long and checking your phone all the time. Turn your phone on silent. Yes, you can wait. The emails can wait. People can wait 30 minutes for you to get some rest and recharge. And if you can't get yourself to really sleep, I would focus on taking deep breaths. I hate taking deep breaths. It's part of the reason why I hate meditation. However, I'm trying to get back into it because I hear it's so beneficial. But take deep breaths. Focus on just inhaling as much as you can and exhaling as much as you can. Even if you do that the whole 30 minutes, inevitably for me, it gets so boring that I end up falling asleep. And if you don't, at least you took a screen-free, in the dark break where you weren't like looking at your phone. Do not go on social media. Do not do what I was doing most of this year, where I was taking a break and scrolling when I felt overwhelmed, when I didn't want to think about a problem I had to deal with, and I just went on social media, because literally all that does is tire me out more. It doesn't help me think of a solution. Literally put your phone on silent, set an alarm for 30 minutes, get under a blanket, and take a break. That is maximizing nap time, recharging your batteries. Do that. That has been a lifesaver for me, because you're not guaranteed to get great sleep. As much as I want, I'm totally a feminist, and I'm like, I want equal pay and equal rights and all that great stuff. However, we need to acknowledge the fact that I should not be comparing myself directly to somebody who doesn't have a kid, waking them up every hour and a half. You know, even if I'm well and I don't have the flu, my kid might, and that might be affecting things. You know, your life and your schedule and what you're able to accomplish, do not compare yourself to all these other people, and don't let them compare themselves to you, saying that you should be like up here with them when, you know, you might have had a challenging week. Set your expectations based on your lifestyle. Number 5, project and task management. So when you're a freelancer, work from home mom, odds are you're doing a lot of part-time work, a little bit for a lot of different people in order to make ends meet. That's my case right now. It was a really tough having like, I think I work on like 4 or 5 different gigs, and it can get really overwhelming, and there's all these different priorities. But again, you only have so much time in the day. So at the beginning of the day, I try to give myself like, okay, what is the thing I want to finish from 7 to 9 a.m.? And then what is the thing I want to finish while my sitter's here? And what is the thing I want to do during nap time? And what is the thing that's not that important that can wait until my son goes to bed at night and I can do later on? That's how I structure my day. It's literally around what I have available to me, not always like, okay, what does my client need? Like, okay, that's totally important. You should be looking at what your client needs. But at the same time, if they're hiring someone who's working from home, who's a virtual assistant, sometimes you have to set boundaries, and you need to go, okay, I know you want everything done today, but can I do this today for you and then get this to you tomorrow? And a lot of times, actually every time, they're like, yeah, that's fine. You have to understand from the perspective of the client. And I've learned this over a lot of hard-earned lessons, which is, don't freak out when they ask you for everything today, because I guess from their perspective, of course they want everything today. Of course, that's their perspective. They're the client. They want their deliverables now. However, you providing a service, don't freak out. You need to look at what is possible for you. The worst thing for you to do, and even worse for your anxiety and depression, is to say, okay, yeah, I'll get that to you without thinking. And then you realize you don't have the time, and then you might fail to deliver, and then you'll get depressed because you feel like a failure, and then you're anxious all day because you didn't do it right, or you don't have the time. Don't do that. Just, like I'm saying, it took me almost a year to learn this. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a moment to look at your schedule and go, okay, what is realistic here? And then go back to that person and say, here's what I can do for you today. Here's when I can get you everything else, either Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, and set expectations. It's perfectly okay as a freelancer to say, no, I can't get all of this to you today. It's not realistic for my schedule. I have other clients, but however, I will do my best to get all of this to you by X date. Will that work? Because you're not an employee just, needing to put your head down and do whatever your boss tells you, which I'm not saying that that's the case for everybody. I've had some really great jobs and really great bosses, but I think as a freelancer, we need to remember that we have the flexibility to say, I have other clients. It's a client-freelancer relationship. You're able to say, I'm an independent contractor. You don't work full-time for this person. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't work full-time. They don't have a monopoly over your whole life. You're allowed to say, no, I'm not able to do all this. So hopefully that helps. Do you have any questions on that? let me know. But yeah, it's not worth freaking out and paying more for a sitter that day. I've done that way too many times, so that you can sit at your computer and add in 3 more hours to your workload when that's not what your budget can allow. And it's perfectly fine to draw the line and say no and reset those expectations. Number 6 is prioritizing. So not just prioritizing work, but also, errands and mom duties and household duties and all that good stuff. So for me, when I see the laundry piled up or I see the dishes piled up, I feel like I want to do those things, especially if I have a task in front of me that is scary, that I don't want to do, and I want to ignore it and fold clothes and watch the Great British Bake Off and procrastinate. Don't do that. Go, okay, I probably can fold all these clothes tonight, when my son's playing with his blocks and I'm waiting for my husband to come home and I'm on mom duty. That isn't to say do all your cleaning when you're supposed to be having one-on-one time with your son. All I'm saying is just set a certain time to do those other chores. It seems like a simple tip, but for someone with anxiety, if you see the stuff in front of you that you really want to get to and you can't, it can be really overwhelming. Like, it can be crippling. It sounds so stupid saying it, but it's true. So what I do to calm myself down is I designate, okay, I know that on Saturday I'll have time to scrub the shower, and that's when I'm going to scrub the shower, and I'm not going to think about it until Saturday because there's no point, because I'm not going to do it until Saturday. So hopefully that helps. Number 7, super important, something that I really need to work on and just started committing to, is tech-free mom time. So when my son wakes up from his nap around 2:30, I'm supposed to be on mom time until 8 o'clock at night when my husband's done eating dinner and he starts playing with him before bedtime. And what I do is I have my phone next to me and it's buzzing every 5 seconds with a new email, and I'm looking at it and I'm checking my phone all the time. And my son's at the age now where he's always seeing mommy looking at her phone and he's trying to get my attention, and it's so heartbreaking because for me it's this is my time to be with my son, and here I am on my phone all the time. It's you are putting in your time. You have certain times during the day that you're working, and you know what? That email and those tasks, they can wait. And if you have a client that doesn't respect that, then you probably should consider dropping that client. So what I started to do was I'll literally put my phone on silent and I put it in another room for at least an hour, and maybe even set a timer for yourself if you feel like my son is awake. Would you mind getting him so I can finish this? So my son just woke up from his nap, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up. Basically what I'm trying to say is get rid of your phone, put it in another room, put it on silent so that you can try to just be present. And for people with anxiety and depression, it's already so hard to be present. Even if you don't have anything on your plate, it's so hard to be present. Something that's been really helping for me is when I take my kid to the park, I leave my phone in the car. And even if that means less cute pictures of my child to post on Instagram or to just keep personally, at least I was present with my kid, and I can see, even though he's only 14 months, that matters a lot to him, and it matters a lot to me, and it's a skill and a habit I'm trying to develop. So at the end of the day, you're work from home mom, but you're also a mom, and you're working to help your family. So it's keeping it all into perspective of, I'm doing all this and I'm working from home so that I can spend more time with my son, so that I can be with my kid more. Honor that commitment and be with your kid when you can be with your kid. And again, not preaching, I suck at this, literally New Year's resolution, this. Wrapping this up, I'll just say tip number 8 is do your best and let go of the rest. It's more of the same. Why are you working? Remind yourself of that. Even if you start your day off with prayer or meditation, remind yourself every single day, why are you working? For me, my specific goal that me and my partner, my husband, are on the same page of is we really want to buy a home. We really, really want to buy a home. And that requires us to get out of debt and to save a down payment. We have that dream. And in order to do that, we have to work really, really hard. And it's really tough, but it's reminding myself of that goal and that dream every single day. If I sit down and pray about it and ask God for the strength to just make it through the day and do my best, that really helps me to, and hopefully that helps you, defining that goal and reminding yourself every morning of why you're doing this. Because working from home, it is not easy as a mom. It is not easy at all. So when I say do your best and let go of the rest, you can only give so much. And again, there's still a part of the day that you need to let go of the work and be with your son and be with your family. So let it go. As a previous coworker of mine would say, whenever I would be there's so much to do, I can't go out with you guys to lunch, I have to sit in my desk all day and work. And she would say, honey, it'll be there when you get back. And you know what? That is literally the best advice I've ever received, because she was right. the work will always be there. There will always be more work. So if you are going to take an hour or two to just play blocks with your kid, then freaking do it, because the work will always be there. And if you are working with someone that doesn't understand that, then they don't align with your values, and it's time to find someone who does. And I guarantee you, if you have those standards for yourself, you will find someone who respects that. So I try to do my best and let go of everything else, knowing that I did the best that I could, and that's that. This was so long. I know I say that every vlog, maybe one vlog, I will not apologize for that, but you know, hopefully if you got to the end, that this was really helpful for you. I know when I started working from home, I wish I had someone to sit me down and go, hey, I've been working from home too, and this is what I've done. I found that a lot of people I talked to just said, working from home? What's that? You make money from home? That was really discouraging. I felt like I was going out on a limb, and now that I've been doing it for 8 months now, and these last 2 months being really intense, being like full-time work from home, it's been crazy. I wanted to bottle all of this up, all of these challenges and advice and things that I've learned. I wanted to put it in this video and put it out there on the interweb so that it'll be there forever and hopefully be there to help. And again, I know that, you know, these tips aren't going to apply specifically perfectly to your situation. So if you have a particular situation that you want to talk about, comment, find me on Instagram, find me on Facebook, and message me and let me know. I would love to help you out as best as I can. I'm just trying to create like a network of women who have similar struggles, and so that we can be there for each other, because I feel like there's way too much isolation. What's crazy is when I finally get out and go to a party or something and I meet other moms who are all struggling with this, I'm like, why do we all feel so alone? We're definitely not the only ones. Like, I'm definitely not the only one. And it just continues to astound me. So that's what this is for. That's what this channel is for. Come together, let's help each other out and learn from each other's mistakes and each other's like challenges and things like that. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and please subscribe and share it if you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up, and Merry Christmas, and I will see you in the new year. Bye.